Well, y'all sound like people that are like obsessing over like crystals or like homeopathic medicine with this tape mod stuff. You're like, oh, I swear it works. Do we think it's gonna sound any different? I'm gonna say no. So you're probably wondering how I got here. Howdy hey, I'm Hipyo Tech, and I fill keyboards with lots of dumb things. Well, I mean, I do other things too, but I guess that's my legacy. Now, normally it's pillow foam or Play-Doh, but today I'm gonna be checking out the tape mod made by Tempest. Now, a lot of people have tried this, especially on TikTok, but I got the idea from Near Lucid's video where he explained the whole mod. Essentially, we're putting tape on the bottom of a PCB to see if it makes good sounds, or something like that. I think this will be a lot of fun, and maybe we'll learn a lot. But I'll have to overcome some challenges like this really terrible set of co-star stabilizers. Oh god, why? Now for this video, I'm going to be using some boards from Iqnix. They sponsored my stream where I did this whole tape mod live. Now, my streams are a totally different vibe than my videos, but you know, you might like it, so make sure you're subscribed. I do them on YouTube. Anyways, these Iqnix boards are pretty cool, and today I'll be using the L80. Now, these by no means are enthusiast grade keyboards, as they're definitely hard to mod. But they do have some enthusiast features that y'all might care about, which we'll check out later. But some of them aren't enthusiast. Oh god, co-star stabs, no. The packaging job was nice, and it was a box inside of a box, and then the keyboard was kept safe with plastic. You can get this keyboard right now for $169 US. Nice. And you can save 5% with code Hipyo. Just check the link down in the description. The board also comes with a manual, which I'm gonna conveniently not read and then regret later. And some fun accessories. Now, as far as these fun accessories go, we've got a cable, which is braided and interestingly colored, but you know, some people might like that. And then, thank God, it's a switch puller that doesn't suck. As well as Mac keys, if you're a Mac user. And a dongle to use this thing wirelessly without Bluetooth. But I couldn't get it working though, so I don't know about that one. I might just be dumb. And a brush. It's brush time. Wow, that's satisfying, even though I'll probably never use it. It just goes in, and then out, and then in. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the tape mod. We will be getting to that. But first, we need to see what the board is like without the tape mod, of course. So some specs about this board is that it's made of plastic, and it's $169 US. Nice. Now, this is a 75% keyboard, but it's got the cramped right arrow cluster, which makes me sad. 75% boards manage to keep the F row and the arrow keys, which is very good. I personally love this layout, and it's one of my favorites as it saves you lots of desk space. But I kind of don't need desk space at this point. I have a big desk. Also, this keyboard for some reason is called the Lime 80, and it says lime on it, but it's also red. Like, what does this have to do with limes? I'm deeply confused. This made me a little bit sour. So other than that lime branding, pretty good. But then they put lime on the bottom. What are they doing? What? Where's the limes? Anyways, speaking of the bottom, you've got some rubber feet so it's non-skid, and you also have flip-out feet with 2 stages and a switch to switch between wired and wireless. They also sent me this A80, which we won't really be checking out. The only main difference is that the F row kind of sits at a weird angle, which some people might consider more comfortable, but I definitely don't. It's also yellow, which would make it like the Lemon 80. Where's the limes? But then they call it the A80. I live in a state of confusion with some of these. But yeah, yellow's like high-key one of my least favorite colors, so... Anyways, back to the board. So this is a decent pre-built offering if you want to do absolutely nothing to your keyboard. So it has one of the best stock spacebars I've ever seen, but... Oh, no. No, no, God, no. God, no, no. Oh, they're co-star. No. A moment of silence, please, for Hipyo's sanity that rapidly declines throughout the course of this build. Now, co-star stabilizers are these stabilizers with a little free-floating wire, and they're incredibly frustrating for me to use, as those little nubs at the end can just free fall off of the wire whenever they want. Now, I'd argue this makes this board not very good for enthusiasts that want to tinker with it, but a lot better if you don't want to ever remove the keycaps, as co-star stabilizers tend to be less rattly, at least if they're factory lubed like these were. Okay, but let's get into the actual build and take all those keycaps off. Now, these are Disassembly PBT keycaps, and they're not very good. Well, they're on the cheaper side. Now, the switches that this board comes with are all Cherry MX options, and I have the Cherry MX Reds. But we won't be using those for this video. Because I want to take this bad boy apart to put tape in it, I had to remove all of these little rubber standoff feet and unscrew this board. Any board that makes you remove the rubber feet to unscrew it instantly gets a Hipyo's bad modability seal of non-approval. Like, if you go back and watch my stream VOD, I get frustrated with this thing for almost 2 hours just to try and figure out how to disassemble it because there wasn't like a clear guide. Furthermore, you have to take a little clip thing and get the clips that are holding it together, even after you unscrew it. Yeah, so this board was incredibly frustrating to take apart, and honestly a mistake. But we're too deep to back out now, so I'm stuck with this. So the board is a modified top mount, meaning that it mounts to the top of the housing, but then it also screws into the bottom like a tray mount. It also comes with a felt-like foam on the PCB, which I think is a very nice touch, especially for a board that's 170 bucks. Like, you kind of expect it, but it's nice. Also, a bit more info about the board. It is hot swap, but it has north-facing LEDs. But the keycaps are OEM profile, so I didn't really notice any interference with these switches that I used, Duroc yellows. Now, these are pretty great mid-range switch, and you can get them from the link down in the description, as well as all of my lubing supplies that I use. Speaking of lubing supplies, I use Carbon GS2 grease, which isn't my favorite linear lube. Honestly, I'd recommend Krytox 205G0 over these. But you know what else I would recommend? The sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Alright, if you listen to this ad, I'll give you an extra howdy hey at the end of it, okay? Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creators. Now, it doesn't really matter what you do, Skillshare probably has a class for you. That's my rhyme, they didn't give me that. You want to learn how to film a video? They got you. You want to learn how to edit a video? They got you too. I edit in DaVinci Resolve, by the way. Heck, you want to explore playing the piano? Which I might actually do pretty soon, that could be fun. Then they got you. This is a bit of a meme, but I was looking for something to watch on Skillshare, and I saw our good friend Marquez Brownlee was on there. And I was like, oh, I'll just watch one of these and see what's up. Well, his videos on YouTube success were so interesting that I watched the whole entire thing. They even gave me a little confetti show when it was over. I was like, wow, I really explored something today. As part of the sponsorship, Skillshare gave me the hookup, and the first 1,000 of you that click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. That's pretty crazy. Click that link. Also, for those of you that sat through the ad, howdy hey. For those of you that skipped it, you don't deserve that. Anyways, back to the build, then I'm just putting on some switches. Now, because this was hot swap, no soldering required, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But I'll be mentally preparing myself for putting on the keycaps with those CoStar stabilizers. Maybe just like a nice good old meditation session or something. Now, you're probably wondering, Hipyo, why did you not give us a sound test of the Cherry MX Reds? Well, honestly, kind of underwhelming. You can check out the full sound test of the Reds and everything else in my stream if you want a good like 4 hours of relaxation, if you really like my voice or something. So for this video's purpose, I'm just going to be using these Duroc yellows. We're going to do before tape, after tape, and then bonus tape? But we'll get into that pretty soon here. But next, you know what time it is. It's suffering time. Well, almost. I put a little bit of extra lube on these stabilizers as I wanted them to not rattle as much as possible. I'd say theoretically CoStar stabs are easier to lube, but I was still banging my head against the keyboard, if you will. Oh, that put on the keycaps, that was nice. Somewhere in an alternate reality, there's Hipyo having a little bit of a manic breakdown, trying to put on all of these keys. Now sure, some of you, it might be pretty easy to put keys on CoStar stabs, but it took me a full 13 minutes. This is 13 minutes sped up, just to put on stabilizers. Anyways, let me just give you a quick little 5 or so seconds of sound test and let me know what you think. So that was with no tape, and it's time to get all tapey. I think even with lubed switches, this board kind of just sounds unremarkable and nothing to write home about at all. The keycaps give off a very cheap sound, but if you were to use good cherry profile keycaps, then you'd have a bad time. Anyways, I've just dropped it back open, as opening it the other way was pretty lame. So you might have noticed that there is some foam in there, and I'm gonna be leaving it in. I know I'll get some comments that are like, well, Hipyo, it's not the tape mod. If it's foam in there, it's gonna be a different mod. I know, I'm doing this my way. Honestly, this board sounds pretty terrible without foam in it, so I was like, I'm leaving the foam in. Also, I was looking at Lucid's video where he combined a bunch of different tape and foam and blah blah blah. I thought it sounded pretty good with tape and foam. But at the time, I had no idea what I was getting into, and I was just kind of like, let's put tape on the PCB. Well, y'all sound like people that are like obsessing over like crystals or like homeopathic medicine with this tape mod stuff. You're like, oh, I swear it works. So sure, I watched the Lucid video, but I did all that after the stream, so I really, like at the time I was like, this is stupid. Tape on a keyboard sounds dumb, because I hadn't done any research. But will I be apologizing? I guess we'll find out really soon. So this mod is super simple. Like it's literally you cut painter's tape or washi tape or something similar. A tape that's not very adhesive, So like, don't use duct tape. Dear God, don't use duct tape. For the first test, I just decided to go with 1 layer of tape. This is just a thin layer on the bottom of the PCB. If you want specifics of how this changes the acoustics and blah, 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 I'm not the person for that. Go click the video link in the description. All I know is that people are saying this makes your board more poppy. Some people say it makes it thocky, but I think that's silly. THOCK is just kind of a buzzword at this point, but it makes you guys click on my videos more, so. But yeah, we had a layer of tape on our PCB. Great work. The video's done? No. You actually have to smoosh it down to kind of get out some of the air bubbles. At least that's what people in my chat were telling me. I don't know if that's accurate. But I smushed it down, I did. And then I sealed up the board, which, by the way, this board is so annoying to seal and open again. Like, I should have picked a different board for this. But this mod is incredibly cheap. Like, it's literally just a roll of tape, and you probably have a roll of tape around in your household. So I don't know if it's going to give you the sound that you want, but it's super easy to try, see if you like it, and then if you don't, you just take the tape out. So with the tape, it's different, but here's a before and after side by side. So it makes it noticeably more poppy, like I don't know, almost like a thack? No, that's not right. It's a pop, I guess. But I digress. We weren't done yet. We were challenged to put more layers of tape on because in chat, literally people are like, Hipyo, you need 4 layers of tape at least. Otherwise, it's not the tape mod. So I put 3 layers as a compromise. This is 3 layers of tape total. And we're gonna see if that made any difference versus 1 layer of tape. My initial thoughts were that it really wouldn't do too much. So I'll give you guys a side-by-side right at the end of this video. But honestly, I think the multiple layers of tape was a bit of a meme. So you're probably wondering, should I go out and put tape on my keyboard? And to that I say, yeah, do it, friggin' send it. Like sure, this might not be exactly what you want, but it's pretty easy to reverse as long as you don't use an adhesive tape. And it's really cheap. The part of the hobby that I love the most is these fun little stupid mods that actually make a difference. And you know what? I'll admit it made a difference. I was wrong. I'm sorry, tape mod people. I was wrong. But you know what I wasn't wrong about? The fact that you guys can enter to win 2 keycap sets right now by clicking that link down in the description. Yep, that's right. I'm giving away over $200 worth of keycaps, so click that link down in the description and make sure you enter. It's my keycap set and Finicky Light, which you can also purchase using code Hipyo to save 3%. Anyways, no more shilling. I'll be leaving you guys with a sound test, and I'll compare the before, 1 tape, and multiple tapes. Special thank you to Night Stalker, the Mr. Man, Joseph Krang, Rosie Ray, and Aquarius Keyboards that hit the join button. Bye!